What's going on, everyone? So I love Rui Hachimura. I know many of you love Rui Hachimura. However, he's just the odd man out. Unfortunately, we got to trade him. And it sucks because I like Rui. And I do think he is a player that can be better than what he's been, right? Like, I do think that he's playing out of position. But as long as LeBron is on this team, he's never going to be able to play in the proper position and play the role and as big enough of the role and consistent enough minutes in order to have the impact necessary. Now, when Rui's cooking and he's on, right, he's great. When he's knocking down several threes, and he is still one of the best three-point shooters per percentage in the league this year. The guy has been absolute money. He was excellent last season shooting the three ball, but it's not his game. He doesn't move the basketball, right? Every time he touches the basketball, you know, without a doubt, that the shot is going up, right? Like, he had a play even in the game yesterday where, I think it was LeBron passed it up to him in the corner. And he started backing a guy down, and then LeBron shifted over, expecting the, either the kick out or the reset, right? Where you kick it back out, and then you get in better position, and then LeBron, dumps it back down. No, he just decided, I'm just going to take it, and then just threw up this, terrible prayer that ended up falling short, and then they were heading in the other direction. And it's just, Rui is incredibly efficient when he gets to be in the spots that he needs to be, and he's excellent in the role that, if he could play, would be great. Problem is that the Lakers don't need him to play that role, for one, and two, they can't have him play that role. And he's making $17 million. He's one of our most sizable contracts that we can turn into a piece that does make more sense, right? And it's not as simple like bringing Rui off the bench, right? I do think when Jared Vanderbilt comes back and healthy and can be at the peak version of himself. So, just for argument's sake, let's say Jared Vanderbilt was 100% and he was what we know he's capable of being. I actually prefer D'Lo in that starting unit. I think our best unit last year, it was the unit that went to the conference finals. Problem is, Darvin Ham just never played that unit last year. Part of it was injuries. Part of it, he just never played it. But our best unit last year was still D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. Why? Because it gives you the best balance. Cam Reddish has been fantastic defensively. Cam Reddish has been perfect for what the Lakers are asking him to be. Given the circumstances, given the situation, you can't ask for more from Cam Reddish. Guy's been giving you, double-digit scoring, playing lockdown defense, giving you effort and energy. One of the few guys that's bringing it and giving you consistency on a nightly basis, right? I would love for him to be a 40% three-point shooter too, and then you start him over anybody else, right? Fortunately, he's just not that. Now, I do think he has a little expansion to his offense game, but he's not a guy that you're counting on to go just be a 15-a-night guy, right? You're hoping, can he just be serviceable offensively and then give you something defensively? But Jared Vanderbilt's just so good defensively and covers so much ground, right? We've talked about it, we've joked about it, how at times it feels like he's teleporting out there on the basketball court. Go watch that OKC series. It literally looked like there was multiple of him. He was able to just clone himself and just have a bunch of different versions out there, right? And with that, you make up so much ground for, Reeves and D'Lo's inconsistencies on the defensive side, or just lack of defense, period. Cam Reddish doesn't cover as much ground. He's very good defensively. When he has a guy in his sights, good luck. That guy's being put in jail. But the ground, Jared Vanderbilt it's almost like he can defend all five guys at once. It's unbelievable. Him and Anthony Davis, we've seen it. Anthony Davis plus Jared Vanderbilt makes the Lakers one of the best defenses in the league just by adding Jared Vanderbilt. But until you have that, you're kind of stuck with Rui Hachimura until you can make a move to unload him. Now, I don't hate the idea of Rui off the bench, right? Because that's the idea is okay, well, maybe move Cam to the 3, bring Rui off the bench, and then you can kind of play more of a role. But the thing is that LeBron's going to be playing 35 minutes a game. So at the 4 spot, you have 13 minutes a game that he can really play. Now, could you split some at the 4, some at the 5? Sure. But it's just, you get this redundancy that's just not going to clear itself up. And the only way to really clear it up is to trade Rui Hachimura. And I love Rui, right? if this was LeBron's last season, right, then maybe you'd consider trading Rui or keeping Rui, right? Not trading him because it's like, oh man, what would he be at the 4? But it's not. And it probably isn't going to be. LeBron's probably got a couple more years under his belt. And you have this sense of urgency of we're not far, right? The Lakers get like 2 or 3 key guys, could do wonders. I mean, look at Dallas last year, right? Like Dallas was looking like, oh, are they going to miss the playoffs again? Like they were not looking like a great team. And then they got Daniel Gafford, you got PJ Washington, and those 2 guys just changed everything for them and expanded and opened things up. And then also, you had Dick Jones Jr. kind of coming into his own, particularly on the defense side of things, right? Things just started to click for them. Don't underestimate the value of adding 1 or 2 pieces to this team, right? And also it would lower pecking orders, right? Like right now, D'Lo, Rui, or Austin Reeves have to be the 3rd best player on a nightly basis, and they're not consistent enough to do that. They're not good enough on a nightly basis to do that. There's nights where, Rui go get you 25, right? There's nights where Reeves go get you, 30. There's nights where D'Lo's cooking, go get you 30 and 6, right? Like there's nights where either of those guys can be that, but it's, okay, well, who's going to do it tonight? And are any of them going to do it tonight? Right? If you can get kind of that better consistency, or if you can get a couple pieces that are just make more sense fit-wise, right? So maybe Austin Reeves still is like your 3rd guy, but if you get like, say, a Cam Johnson, who, in my opinion, is probably the 3rd best player on this team out the gate, but like now you get a guy that's a 2-way, legit can defend 1 through 5, can play the 3, can play the 4, right? And be a defensive help out on the perimeter. Right? Like if you can go get a Walker Kessler to add to Cam Johnson, okay, well now you got a legit sizable center that can go get you a double-double and block 3 shots a night. Right? Okay, now you have somebody that can help Anthony Davis on the interior. When Anthony Davis goes to the bench or has a night off or whatever, boom, you got this guy that you can inject and he can give you the consistency you're looking for. Right? Now I do think like when Christian Wood gets back, and now that D'Lo's off the bench, I do think you get better balance now. I think right now the Lakers just have better balance, but the problem is Rui still just looks like the odd man out at times. Like I've talked about D'Lo as the odd man out, and I said the only 2 ways to really fix it is D'Lo either goes to the bench or you trade him. Well, they were able to bring him to the bench, and to his credit, he's buying into it, right? That was the concern, right? Like, would D'Lo actually buy into the bench role? And so far he has. And if he continues to do that, then that's great. And then you get Christian Wood back. Now I think that bench can actually be a serviceable bench at that point, especially if Dalton Connect kind of get comfortable, kind of find his shot and his stroke. I've seen a lot of people say start Dalton Connect in place of Rui. Right now, your best option is Rui Hachimura. I know like this whole video is about how we need to trade him and because he's a redundancy, but we don't have a better option. Like Dalton Connect isn't ready, right? Like he's just not. As much as I like Dalton Connect, he's just as bad defensively, and Rui is inconsistent at times, but he's more consistent, and on a great night that we've seen, just gives you more than Dalton Connect, and that's fine. He's a rookie. He's got to figure some stuff out. He's got to kind of come into his own. Maybe at some point, we're having that conversation where Dalton Connect can kind of come into a starting role. I'm not saying that we're ruling it out all season long, but as of right now, you're kind of stuck with Rui at the 3 because LeBron can't play the 3. Again, I've heard people time and time again be like, why doesn't LeBron just play the 3? It's not like we just have had all these coaches come in and they've all just been like, oh, guess let LeBron play the 4. Like no one's thought of the idea of playing LeBron at the 3 or another position. It's because of LeBron. At this stage, at his age, what he'd have to do at the 3, you're going to wear him. You're already running the risk of wearing him out, right? But at least at the 4, he can camp out. He can play that free safety role. You see times he'll just completely take plays off on the defensive side of things, right? Like you can't do that at the 3. Talking about more quicker, twitchier, athletic wings that shoot the ball better. You're also responsible for the perimeter and its defense. You're also responsible for, creating turnovers and creating pressure out on the perimeter, as well as chasing down live balls, as well as chasing down, long ball rebounds. It's just, there's a lot that goes into playing the 3 that he doesn't have to deal with playing the 4. And he can kind of just pick and choose his spots. He's talked about it. Darvin Ham's talked about it, right? I know people aren't fans of Darvin Ham, but like he wasn't wrong, right? And now you're seeing the same thing with JJ Redick and this coaching staff, which is clearly better than Darvin Ham and everyone else. Like, why are they like, oh, well, let's not just move LeBron to the 3? Because LeBron has to play the 4 at this stage of his career, right? Maybe when you get to the playoffs, maybe at that, for like that stretch or whatever, or the finals or something like that, maybe you're like, hey, bro, we need you 4 games, right? Like, maybe, but 82-game season, it's a lot of ask for him. It's a lot to weigh on him, right? So for right now, you're kind of stuck with Rui at the 3, which is unfortunate, because he doesn't make sense there. He's out of position, he's slotted out of position, but you kind of don't have any other options, right? Like, it's something I even talked about last season. And it's why I wasn't sold even when the Lakers started 8-0 with Rui in the starting unit. I talked about my concerns with the lack of defense, the lack of rebounding. Rui, he started off pretty good rebounding the basketball, right? We saw him to start the season was actually pretty good rebounding basketball, but he just... Again, it's just like he just, the effort hasn't been there the last few games. And it's just, I just think at this point, he has to go. You have to look to trade him. You know, I'd love to keep Rui long term. I'd love for him to be our starting 4, you know, in a couple years. But I just think you're in a position where you need to try to get the best opportunity for LeBron and AD to win now. AD's playing at an MVP level season. LeBron James ain't getting any younger. He's coming off of 2 straight triple doubles, right? Like, you got to get these guys some help, right? You got to go get the proper trade. I'm not saying you have to go, take the first deal available, right? Like, be patient, take your time, find out what's there, what's not, and make an educated move. But you got to get something done, and you got to trade Rui. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think, like, yes, you got to trade Rui Hachimura? Do you think, no, you got to keep Rui by whatever cost, no matter what? Do you think, like, figure it out? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot as we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.